Alright, so in this video we have Tim Dillon and Bert Kreischer talking about whether or not they'd want to do the Howard Stern show, because neither one of them have done it, and they're with Whitney here, Whitney Cummings, who has been on there a bunch of times. She started going on there in like 2007 or 2008, and of course Howard now tries to take credit for her whole career.
Whitney Cummings was doing jack shit when we found her. She was in clubs. She was going nowhere fast.
I would like to hear what Whitney has to say about this, but I doubt she'd ever address it because she probably still wants to go on the show. But honestly, I'm sure the show did help her career out a lot. Like 2007, 2008 is still pretty popular, and it was something that would help boost people's careers, even though that was like right when it started to decline, like right around when Artie left. And then it felt like it went from the Howard Stern show being one of the top places for comedians to help their career to now the Joe Rogan Experience being the top place for sure. And Joe actually used to go on the Howard Stern show a lot back in the early 2000s, but then him and Howard had a falling out. If you haven't seen my video on that, make sure you check it out. That's a good one. But first, let's get into the clip here and see what they have to say about Howard.
Do you did you ever do Howard Stern?
No.
Really?
No, and can I tell you, I find
Wrap-up
it to
show?
be never. So funny, I went in one time and I don't know if it was Shuli or one of the guys was like, I was there and they're like, hey, do you want to see the studio? And I was like, yeah, sure. We got an offer to do Howard Stern at one point, and it didn't work out. I don't know why. I don't know if I'd do it now.
I would just like to see it. Like, even if it's not gonna be...
Oh, I'd go old school. And I get drunk as fuck.
I would just
roll
be
in, I'd
curious.
go to sleep. I'd come in on coke. I'd fucking go old school, and I'd want to have fun with them. I don't want the serious interview. Like, he's a great interview, but I miss the days of like every suck a midget's dick or something.
Yeah.
And then you're like I like that. I love that energy.
But
of like,
he misses that too, I think, on some level, and he loves comics so much. He interviews comics, I think, very differently than he interviews...
For real?
Yeah, actors and stuff. I would just be curious what he'd ask you about. I just think it'd be interesting regardless.
I don't think he'd like me.
Yeah, I don't think he likes anybody other than his Hollywood elite friends like Jimmy Kimmel and Alec Baldwin. It's crazy what this show's turned into. Like, who is watching this? Who cares why Jimmy Kimmel re-signed his contract for Jimmy Kimmel Live? I feel like they had to have paid for the views on this video. I refuse to believe there's a single person on this planet that cares to hear the answer to this.
But I think that I remember going in there, it's so terrifying because it's this like iconic thing you've seen. Rogan Street, we've seen in every iteration. When I did Stern as a guest when I was younger, you see it and you go blank because you're so starstruck by the set.
Wait, how old were you when you did Stern?
26.
Okay, yeah, that would be
25, 26. So I'm saying...
I wish I could find the first episode she was on, but it's hard to find a lot of these now. They used to be on YouTube, but I think they're taking them off. But I did manage to find a part of an older episode that she was on, and Howard asked her the same question that I have every time I see her on a podcast.
What are you on now? Are you on medication?
What I mean,
are you on
is
medication?
That obvious?
Are you? Yeah, I mean, you're racing.
Watching that back, I'm not totally sure that is Whitney. I think that might actually be Tan Mom. But either way, whoever this person is, apparently they threw a glass at Jerry Seinfeld's wife's head.
Throwing a glass at Jerry's wife's head.
What? Jessica Seinfeld, who is like, you know, she's a jovial, garrulous one.
You guys were having so much fun.
She was like running around in shorts and in a like t-shirt, and
she was having fun with you.
And I just said to her, yeah, totally.
But you can't wing a glass in her head.
It was totally facetious, and she was wearing shorts, and I was like, you animal, you are wearing shorts. You're acting like you have $1 billion. He's like, I do. I have a lot. And then so I was like, oh, really? So I just picked up the glass. I was like, how much is this worth? How much is this worth? So I kept throwing her glassware and breaking.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's all about, but let's get back to the main video here. Apparently Tim tried to get on the Howard Stern show one time. He says he messaged somebody that worked there, and they basically told him that he wasn't famous enough. He needs to get on Jimmy Kimmel's level first. And then Whitney's like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll just text Baba Booey right now and see if you guys can get on the show. And they're both just like, no, that's weird.
I'd love to. It's a goal that I have because I grew up listening to him from Long Island. Would love to just do it.
Yeah.
Message to like one of the guys who works there. They're like, yeah, we just have mega celebrities now.
Who said that?
One of the guys who works there.
Yeah.
Because they do.
All the guys that work there are all really
They're all
cool
fans
dudes.
of comedy.
And they're fans of comedy.
Yeah, but I've done the wrap up.
Yeah.
You know, all that.
You roll in. I think I've done the wrap up maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
We should like talk. I mean, should I text Gary right now and pitch you guys to be on the show?
No, I don't, because I don't know.
Why not? I think you
Because
should.
I
feels
don't,
weird.
Yeah, I don't want to ask to be on anyone's show.
It also just seems like Bert doesn't even care to be on there. Like, it's really not something he's interested in. But Tim sounds like he would go on there. I mean, he already said he tried messaging somebody. And I bet after this episode, he probably went up to Whitney. He's like, listen, do you mind texting Gary? Or can I get his number or something? But I don't know if Howard would even want to have him on there. Because, like he said, it's mostly just mega celebrities. But also, I feel like he might remind him of Artie too much.
Radio's dying. It's like TV.
I think
even satellite radio, I think, is probably dying.
I think in certain areas, it is 100% dying. I think in big markets, it's still living. It's going to be there for a while.
Okay.
You know where it's not?
Where?
Is listened to less, absolutely. But when I do those like daytime shows, I know everyone makes fun of me. The Kelly and Ryans and the Today and the Hoda and Kelly Bush, or all the Bush's kids are now all of our news anchors. It's wild.
Jenna
Hoda
Bush.
Cobb, all those. They can play in public spaces and in office break rooms and at TSA pre-check at 2 a.m.
Yeah, Tim's definitely not getting on the Stern Show after saying radio's dying. Howard hates to hear that shit. I've made a few videos about that. But I don't know, maybe he will manage to work his way on there, especially now that I said he probably couldn't do it. But we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. So that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about all this, then hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.